This is episode 65 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and today we're not seeing droids.
No, I have got a match for us this week. It is a match I played last weekend in the GSP Korriban qualifier. As regular listeners might know, I took part in, or whatever the one was before that I cut, Oricon, I think it was, qualifier, tried to get a top 8 in Republic prize, and I failed miserably. I think I ended up 14th out of the 15 Republic lists. So yeah. So I thought I'd give it another crack this time. We'll get the good news out of the way. I achieved my target. So way. That'd be good.
That's a very interesting way of putting 1-1 drop.
I achieved my target. I finished as the 4th top Republic list, and that's all that matters, Sam.
True. That is what you were going for.
Yes. But on that note, the list I took is similar to the lists I've been flying recently. But I found that when I did that Oricron one, obviously I'd taken Hound, Obi, Luminara, Contrail, and Click. And I ended up flying against, I think, 2 other Republic lists, both with Delta B Anakins, and they just annihilated me. So I thought I'd give the Delta B Annie list a shot. And so to that extent, it is Delta B Anakin with Crackshot, R4P17, and Shield upgrade to do that spicy 5k, land right behind someone and get 3 actions if I want it. But also just a get out of jail if I need to do something after performing a red maneuver. I've got Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Delta 7 with Elusive, R2-D2, and the calibrated laser targeting upgrade. Config. Contrail with Crackshot, R7A7, delayed fuses, Besh, and proton bombs. And Hound, I haven't updated the overlay, so anybody watching, ignore what that says. Hound is rocking C-3PO, Corky Cries, Agile Gunner, 7th Fleet Gunner, and a synced console.
Nice.
I had 1 point left, I thought, but sync console, maybe he takes a lot one time and passes it to somebody, but
if he ever manages to do it, that's fine, right? It's
exactly.
1 point just for random bonuses.
Exactly.
It's hardly bad.
So yeah, that was the list I'd taken. I'd brought 2 small rocks and a slightly larger rock just to give options, I suppose. So we played. This is my round 1 game. We played Chance Engagement, and my opponent, there we are, was Stephen Wieland, and apologies if I pronounced that wrong. Who I believe went on to go 5-0 in Swiss. So
nice.
That tells you how this game goes.
Oh yeah, I guess that doesn't spoil the result of this game.
But it is an interesting game, actually. And I'll talk through it because there were points I thought I had it, and it was interesting. And Stephen is flying 5 ties and rack.
Good old. I've actually forgotten what that ship is called.
Decimator.
Yeah, I literally, I was looking at it. I was like, I don't know what it's called. Why don't I know this? It's not called the Dauntless. It certainly is not a Defender. It's a D something.
Do you want to have a quick flick through the list?
Yeah, so we've got Rear Admiral Chirano with Disciplined, Darth Vader Crew, Minister Tua, Agile Gunner, Seismic Charges, and the Dauntless title. I don't know what half of those things do. I'm pretty sure Minister Tua is something about reinforcing, and the Dauntless is if you partially execute a maneuver, you can do an action.
So, Disciplined is obviously when a ship dies, I think you can perform a barrel roll or a target lock.
Nice. Barrel roll and a Decimator. Everyone loves it.
Yeah. Seismic Charges and Agile Gunner, self-promoting. Darth Vader is at the start of the engagement phase. You may spend one force, choose a ship at range 0 to 2. That ship suffers 1 damage unless it removes a green token.
Mighty.
Yeah, that you're paying a force for an auto damage, or you're taking away mods. It's
what Suppressive Gunner dreams it could be.
Yeah, and Minister 2. I don't know. Pronounce it Tua. You're right. It is to do with reinforce, and it's at the start of the engagement phase. If you are damaged, you may perform a red reinforce action.
Nice.
Yeah.
And a decimator is going to be damaged.
Not as much as I'd hope.
Oh dear.
Anyone watching on the YouTube, I apologise in advance. Clearly, I forgot to set up the second camera, so you get my view.
Oh, it's like me back in the day when we started doing the YouTube version.
Yeah.
When you would just spasmically follow my camera around as we whipped through the speed.
Luckily, I tend to stay zoomed out quite a lot, so it shouldn't be too bad.
But accompanying the rack is Moff Gideon in the TIE Fighter with elusive, contraband cybernetics, and cloaking device. Nice. Iden Versio with elusive, disciplined, and a heavy laser cannon. Nice. 2 ISB Jingoists with contraband cybernetics, and Wampa with elusive.
Yeah, because,
like
Jingo Wampa for 6 points is just winning.
Yeah. I just realised, with all the elusives, they've made Del Mico pointless because his entire thing was you get defensive rerolls, and then the TIEs are just actually, we'll just all take elusive.
Yeah, but I mean, you could put an argument for putting him in there as well, and then suddenly you've got 2 rerolls, and that's going to make those TIEs really difficult. But
I'd argue 3 points
exactly, and there are better choices.
Literally Gideon
and Dryden. So
yeah.
But anyway, so we rolled off, and my opponent was first player, and I can't remember exactly who placed the obstacles. Apart from the gas cloud just above the centre. Obviously, chance engagement, so there's only 1 objective. I placed that there just to stop the TIEs coming straight down the middle. And then basically what we've got is, from my side, a rainbow from 2 and 2 in each of my corners over the top of the objective.
Okay.
And then the hook-shaped gas cloud just top right, slightly in from 2 and 2. So yeah, I'm quite happy because I've got a nice, easy, clear middle bit towards the centre objective. There's nice lanes for Hound to get through without constraining him, but they're still tight enough together that it's going to be hard to get all 5 TIEs through that.
Yeah, so, I can see that.
I'm reasonably happy with that. So my opponent sets up Wampa first. And sets it up as I'm looking at it, top left, about 4 ship bases in, my opponent's right-hand side corner. So because he does that, I set up Hound basically opposite. It's just slightly to the left and below the bottom left rock, with the turret side to side. Basically, the plan there is I do a bank maneuver the first turn, 1 or 2, trying to basically line Hound up for one of the gaps on the other side, so that I can just slowly peek forward pretty much for the rest of the game. Because I want the engagement to come to me through the objective. So I'm just going to slowly move away, bait him down. Contrail is probably going to stay near him, or once they meet, will stay near him, and the Jedi will hopefully flank and do Jedi things, is the plan. So my opponent then sets up the rest of his list, and the TIEs basically all go down together on that right-hand side. They're in a W formation, as I'm looking at it, so 2 at the front, 3 at the back, offset. And you have got Wampa and the green Jingo at the front, and then the other Jingo, Iden and Gideon at the back, Iden in the middle, Gideon on the outside. And then the Decimator goes down a third of the way in from the other edge, facing the ties with the turret out the side. From that, I'm guessing to do exactly what I'm going to do with Hound and do a bank maneuver and then just slowly come down the outside of the obstacles.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Or maybe go straight ahead and then just turn in behind the ties.
Yeah. So, because of that, I then set up Click, and I set up Click just to the right of centre, and quite far back, just so he can do a 2 straight, basically let Hound come towards him, see where the ties go. I set Obi just to the right of him, just inside the 2 and 2 bottom right obstacle. I'm going to jump Obi a little bit faster forwards. Not trying to get like a full-on flank or anything, but to give me options to turn left in with a 1 hard if I need to. He can go straight up past the objective above the centre if he needs to, and so on. And then Anakin just the other side of that rock, who's going to do a 5 straight turn 1, boost as where needed, and try and get the flank. Because he's less reliant on getting that bullseye because he's a Delta B. He's got a shield upgrade, so if Rack does catch him, it's not the end of the world. And basically, if I can flank, I can flank. So yeah, there's the plan. So to that extent, we go to turn 1, and I am first player, which means Obi and Contrail will move before Rack. That is the only overlap we have at I5. But it's quite significant because it's the difference between Anakin moving last and all 3 of my maneuverable ships moving last. So
yeah.
But Wampa does a 3 straight and takes a focus. Hound does his 2 bank and double calculates. And then the rest of the swarm, all 3 straight, take a focus, which I like. Great, cool. That's fine. Contrail does his 2 straight, takes a focus. Obi does a 4 straight, takes a focus.
Yeah, everything's kind of as expected.
Yeah. Rack does a 1 straight and reinforces to the rear. And Anakin does a 5 straight. I fine tune for a boost to basically just make sure that I can get past that little rock with anything I want to do. Basically, a 1 bank will now clear that. And then I think I reach for a lock.
I mean, you may as well see, right?
No, I think I just boosted as my main action because I haven't flipped a force. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that because I'm now thinking the ties are coming somewhere through the 2 left-hand gaps. So Anakin, if he goes up through the top, can likely get a flank, and I can just basically try and put the rest of the list in. And the Decimator just seemed a little bit far back to me. Like
yes and no, because it's a large base, so it can really book it if it wants to, and it doesn't really care about being stressed.
But then if it's stressed and it's not getting actions, then the reinforcement without that reinforce means I'm going to start plinking through quite quickly. But I'm still not sure whether the ties are going to turn into the closest one, carry on going a bit straight. But basically, I want to play a bit safe. So I think I end up either straight or banking Obi and Contrail, but not fast. And Anakin, I think a 3 bank actually, to give me options. Like if needs be, I could barrel roll to the right of the top right gas cloud. Or come in if I need to, was the game plan. But it was more, because all 3 of those are moving after the ties, I just want to have options. I don't want to get too aggressive and get forced into where the ties are going. That's me checking which straight maneuver I need for Obi to clear that rock. But to turn 2, and my opponent is first player. So that's his entire list after Hound. Well, 1 per Hound, his list, the rest of mine, which is how I prefer it. And Wampa does I think that's a 2 bank in.
Yeah, that's a 2 bank and a focus.
So that makes me think he's Well, that really was like, that's interesting, because if he's banked everyone else, he's hampering the next turn because that bacon gas cloud is in the way to stop everyone just coming forwards.
But at the same time, like it's only Wampa and maybe Aiden who gets affected by it. So like he could even he could yeet Wampa over that and not really care.
Yeah, but to me, if I'm facing 5 ties, any chance of them having a strain or ions is a bonus.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially when,
and I also guess like barrel rolling and banking are options because when Wampa goes, then it's the rest of the ties. You have a lot of options with the same initiative.
yeah. So Hound just does a 2 straight. I wanted to go fast enough to make sure that if we did end up fighting, I had arc. Basically, simple as that. Double calculate.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the ties all bank in and take focuses. And he's done a mixture of 2s and
3s. Yep, so he's got a nice little echelon. And then, is that a 1 hard?
No, it's a 1 bank.
1 bank, okay.
1 bank from
the rack.
And reinforces to the front.
Yep, makes sense.
So I do a 1 bank with Obi. I then... Oh, I meant to take a focus, but apparently hit the jam, which we do clock in a second. I 2 straight with Contrail. I reach for a lock. No one's in range. This is where we clock that I picked up a jam. That lock was basically knowledge. Am I getting shot at this turn?
Yeah. Is this a shooting turn? Doesn't look like it.
Like if Contrail was getting shot, it's range 3, so I'll take the 4 on 2 without a mod.
Yeah,
just for that information. And then if we were in turn, I picked up a lock for the next turn. And Anakin does his 3 bank, and I'm zooming in here because I'm in the side arc of the Decimator.
Looks like you're straddling to me, so really
well, that's it.
Doesn't matter.
So that's what I was looking at, and I go for a lock. And I have him in range.
You have him now.
So we go to start of engagement. My opponent checks for Vader. Not near range 2, so no Vader. So Anakin goes range 3 unobstructed into the Decimator. And I roll 3 hits. So
nice
way of starting.
Anakin.
1 evade for the Decimator, so plink 2 shields off.
Yep.
Always a nice start. Rack then gets that shot back. Rolls eyeball hit crit and spends the force for hit crit. And I roll 1 evade and 2 blanks.
Alright, so I'm trading 2 shields for 2 shields.
And start having already on the first greens post-traumatic stress from my 2 years of flying nothing but Jedi.
Yep.
But yeah, 2 shields. I'm like, okay, that's not... It's slightly more damaging on Anakin than the Decimator, obviously, but it's not end of the world stuff by any stretch.
Surprised you didn't crack shot.
Yeah, I should have crack shot, shouldn't I? Funny, I was just looking at the upgrade on the table there.
I know it's just a shield, but a damage is a damage, right?
No. Normally, I'm a firm believer in just do it when you can because that was me probably just ignoring the fact that he's actually got a green dice and being like,
yeah,
it's a Decimator, don't need to worry, results are results. So we check for everyone else, no one has a shot, and we just both score a point. So 1 each.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So right now my gut reaction is Anakin's in danger. Because that awkward bank you were talking about with the ties, I look at that and I think they can either they can potentially just bank in and be looking at where Anakin might be or wants to be.
See, I thought the bank was possible. Certainly, but that's going to leave a longish range shot. So Anakin here is a 1 bank.
Yeah.
1 bank to the left. Because if they do bank in, I'm either at range 3 likely obstructed. I can barrel roll down behind the gas cloud if I need to. Or if Rack turns in, I can barrel roll up and try and arc dodge that. So.
Oh, he turned his Rack end phase
Oh.
turned his turret. So Rack is turning in, right?
Yeah. Well, that was my fault. End phase. He's now facing front and back. A 2 hard.
Yeah. So that actually makes the banks and the ties worse in my mind because they'll get in the way. Okay,
well, exactly. Yeah. So my main concern with Anakin there was Rack rather than the ties because I thought he was turning down. Hence the 1 bank. My thinking is that he'll likely end up just in front and can barrel roll up past the arc.
Yeah.
Or bumps range 0, which for me is fine. And basically, I've got to concentrate Hound, Contrail, and Obi on these ties. But my gut was that the ties were coming straight, or certainly coming down into the center. And I was trying to get in a position basically where I can either dodge some of the shots or get range 0 shots, and then hopefully next turn drop a proton bomb, zoom off behind them.
Yeah, like I'm like if they go straight, I'm like they're just 2 straight, right? They just 2 straight. Maybe Jingo and Gideon like 5.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a fast straight by any stretch. I just felt that I felt if they did turn, like if they bank or turn, there's a chance they get in the Decimator's way, and it leaves 3 of my 4 ships on their flank.
Yeah.
Which I just, especially with, if you leave Obi range 1 bullseye with a 7 fleet gunner on your flank.
Yeah, but like to me, that's a risk worth taking. If like Anakin looks like he's in trouble, and if I could line up a bunch of shots onto Anakin, like and just take him off the board. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see what he does. Like I'd have called Banks from Wampa, one of the Jingoists, and Iden, and maybe Straits from the other Jingoist and Gideon. That gets them into range 2 of the center and out of the way, essentially.
Interestingly, I thought Straits definitely from Gideon and the 2 Jingos, and then maybe a bank, like a slow bank from Iden and Wampa, because that would leave options open for both Anakin, but also like Obi and Contrail. So we roll off, and I'm first player. So again, only mattering for the Decimator. And we go to Wampa, who does a 1 hard. And I have to admit, that completely caught me off.
I can see that actually. Like this is, we're all in on Anakin. If Anakin doesn't, if Anakin somehow goes to the right, this is in trouble.
See, now in hindsight, I get it, and it is the full turn in on Anakin. Once Wampa's done that, though, I'm thinking, if he's done that with everyone, I'm quite happy, because the 1 bank to the left barrel roll down gets me out of Wampa's arc, so likely gets me out of a lot of them. It takes a focus. Hound does a 2 bank, because I was thinking with the ties coming forward, I had to swing my arc round enough to keep them in it, basically.
Yeah.
And double calculates. And then the rest of the ties, I believe, all 1 hard. Take focuses. So yeah, like I'm wondering if that, expecting Anakin to go maybe quite fast.
Yeah.
And if he's turning Rack in as well, if he's thinking if he can get a bump on Anakin in front of all the ties.
Yeah, because so I have no idea if this is what but if I was him, I'd be like, okay, my opponent sees that Rack's arc is turned, so he knows Rack's turning in. So I reckon Anakin will go fast to try and get in the side.
Yeah.
That's my read on this thing. Yeah, 5 straight from Obi.
So Obi does a 5 straight, jumps past the gas cloud. See, obviously, I was expecting
barrel to the left and focus.
Yeah, I was expecting them to come straight. So the 5 straight was either I jump over them, which I'm fine with, or I bump, and then at least one of them is getting a range 0 shot. Yeah. Obi gets his focus, which technically means with his pilot ability, he's got 4 focuses.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't bump. So yeah, I force barrel roll and take a focus. Contrail does a 3 bank to stick him in front of Hound. Again, that was a make sure I'm not bumping into Obi, set up hopefully a proton bomb if they've come straight the next turn. But it still leaves me options.
Yep. And target lock, I imagine.
Yeah, take a lock. And I think I lock Wampa.
You do.
Then the 2 hard from the Decimator.
Yep.
And then reinforce to the
front.
And I do the 1 bank. And actually, in hindsight, the barrel rolling up is not an option because that I don't quite go as fast. But I'm okay with that. Like, I'm going to take a shot from the Decimator. But if I barrel roll to the left, I think that gets me out of range 1.
Yeah.
And
you need to get a green token.
And gets me out of certainly probably 2 more ties.
Yeah, it looks like versus Iden and one of the Jingoists, possibly Wampa, but that's too close to call from the top down.
But if I'm taking 2 range 3 shots from the ties as opposed to 5 shots, that's a win in my book.
So force barrel roll and get a green token.
Force barrel roll, get a green token.
Because you're going to need it for Vader.
Because I'm going to need it for Vader. So yeah, there you go. There goes the focus.
Yeah.
So Anakin has a range 2 into the Decimator, which I take. I roll hit crit focus. And I spend the force to make it 2 and the crit.
Yeah, so because the reinforce blocks 1.
The reinforce blocks 1, but that is shields down. So, happy days. I do Contrail next, who I think goes into Wampa. And rolls 2 hits.
Nice.
Wampa rolls 2 focuses and a blank. And I believe spends the focus.
Yep, makes sense.
Then Obi-Wan does his range 1 CLT. I 7th Fleet Gunner it for the 4th dice. I end up with 5 hits.
Into Wampa?
Into Wampa. Wampa rolls one fade.
So obviously Iden comes out here.
So Iden. Now, I got a bit ahead of myself here because I knock it off Wampa on the overlay for anyone watching. Then he's like, Iden. I was like, damn, I always forget about Iden. So you'll see me put it back on. However, because you no longer regain half points, the overlay still says 2 points.
2.
I'm in fact on 1. And I noticed this a little further down the line and end up tweaking it on the scenario points. But yeah, so it is what it is. But it's an interesting thing to remember. And I've got to remember Iden. I need to fly my Imperial stuff, then I'll start remembering it. But yeah, so okay, that's fine. I've burnt Iden. That's fine. Then it's Rack. Rack goes into Anakin, and I missed trigger here, and I was thinking about this a second ago as we were watching this back. I didn't Corky. Like, Anakin sat there, range 2 in the front arc of Hound.
Yeah.
I should have lobbed a calculate over.
Yeah.
Because he's already lost 2 force. Alright, if I need 2 results, I've got it. But if I only end up with 1, I'm not burning a force. I'm spending that calculate.
Yeah.
And Hound isn't getting shot. So... and I roll 2 blanks. So, okay, irrelevant in the end. But I should have done that.
Yeah, like just because the dice didn't come up doesn't mean you shouldn't have remembered the trigger.
No, exactly. So that's his shields down and a damage through, and that is blinded pilot. So that's half on Anakin.
All right, Rack doing Rack things.
Right, doing Rack things. Then we go to the ties.
And none of them have a shot, pretty much.
None of them have a shot. Hound goes into Wampa because. Why not? Rolls 2 hits.
Nice.
2 evades. And that's it. And then we both gain a point for...
Okay, so far dice haven't... That's an interesting Agile Gunner.
I clearly forget to add myself a point on the in-game one, but I do on the overlay, so... That's fine. Yeah.
So to anyone listening, Sean's just agile gunnered Hound's arc to the front, which makes me think you're planning on stopping, I guess.
Was my plan. Because at this point, even if the tie's one hard back in, they're still in arc. But the only move that doesn't land me on an obstacle and doesn't bump me into Contrail or Obi is a too hard to the right.
Is that not fine?
Well, I say I might too hard to the right. I can't remember which one. But either way, I think I want the arc front back. Because if I'm too hard to the right, I want it out the rear to catch the ties.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, I don't know. Like, for me, I'm like, you keep it side to side, too hard to the right, and Rack's in there if nothing else. At this point, maybe Rack is the target.
But I think the only people likely to get a shot on Rack is Anakin, maybe.
Anakin, I could see you getting shots of all four. It would depend where you think the ties were going, but...
Well, I wasn't 100% sure on the ties. I think Contrail's doing a two-bank to the right. Obi, I know for a fact, is slooping to the left. Because the one place I know that the green jingoist isn't going to be is where he is now.
Yeah. Come on, opponent. Read it, Moff Gideon, one hard barrel roll.
Well, I mean, there is that. But yeah, so that's why I've Agile Gunner, because I felt it gave me better options whether I decide to stop or turn.
Bet you're wishing Anakin had elusive, though.
Yes, I am. He's also Agile Gunnered, so his turret on the Decimator is now side to side.
Yep, that makes sense.
Which to me...
Rack is about to, like, one bank.
Oh, see, to me, I thought one straight.
Yeah, that also works. Like I'm thinking one bank, and then you can just turn in the next round.
Yeah, see my read was a straight maneuver that keeps the fives and Hound in arc and bumps Anakin.
Yeah, no, I can see that. But if the thing is with one straight, if Anakin bumps into you, you're not shooting Anakin. So I see one bank, and then if Anakin bumps into you, you're still range zeroing each other.
Yeah. So we roll off, and my opponent's first player. We actually, I think we get pretty even over the game, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm thinking like the dice, your Anakin's greens are holding you back, but like everyone's reds are doing pretty nicely.
Yeah, no, I don't think the dice are overly swingy in either direction. So we go to the system phase, and I take a disarm to recharge 7 fleet. And 1/1 hards down.
And focuses. Dun 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 dun.
And focuses. So I'm like, okay, interesting. If they all fit, I do the stop.
Okay.
I'm guessing, because I can't remember from Saturday really early in the morning, that I then next turn I've got the option to too hard to the right. And keep the turret behind.
Or possibly too hard to the left at this point, to be honest.
Or too hard to the left. And his entire tie sword 1 hard. However, the blue Jingo bumps into the Decimator.
Hey.
And takes
damage. Nice.
Iden bumps into the blue Jingo.
Oh, it's all going wrong for the ties.
And doesn't take a damage. And then Moff Gideon fits in behind and takes a focus. Yeah. So, okay, he's turned down, but 2 bumps.
Nice.
So only 3 have mods.
We take this.
Yeah, that's fine. So we... and it is a 1 bank.
Yeah, see that when the turret moved, I was like, yeah, it's definitely 1 bank, because now if Anakin turns up, Anakin bumps into the turret side, and if Anakin is out of arc, well, then Rack just shoots Contrail or Hound.
Yeah.
Like, Rack's going to do tons of damage no matter what he shoots at.
Yeah. So
that's a spicy 2-sloop.
Yeah. So Obi does his 2-sloop and gets past Gideon by millimeters. So I'm not in any arcs. I'm sat range 1 with a bullseye into certainly Jingo. The green Jingo, possibly a range 1 bullseye into Wampa. So yeah, quite happy. Just sits there, takes his stress. So I did a 5 straight with Contrail because I was. If the ties have sort of moved up after Anakin, I'm behind them. If they've turned in like they did, I was hoping to jump over. Didn't quite jump, so I've bumped into Wampa. But at least that way, Wampa's getting an unmodded shot. Iden behind is bumped, so is an unmodded. All right, range 1, but unmodded. And then, okay, I've got the 2 shots from Gideon and the green Jingo, but I'm shooting those before they shoot me. So hopefully I can either strip the mods, do some damage, maybe even kill one of them.
I mean, red focus here, right? For sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, red focus.
Yeah.
And then Anakin one heart up, bumps into Rack, and takes the red focus. Because I don't have calculates to pass over this time.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then, obviously, Rack says, no, you don't have a focus.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to remember, actually. At one point, I am an R whether I think it's this one. So I'm umming and ahhing whether or not to just take the damage.
No, not a chance.
Just because I'm getting a lot of shots.
Yeah, but like having the safety blanket of 2 health to me is especially when you've got the Force is much better than being on 1 health, because then all it takes is like 1 blank to die.
Yeah, and that is what I decide in the end. I do the thing. Rack reinforced to the rear. Anakin,
you're a straddle, baby.
I'm a straddle. Anakin takes his range 0. Rolls hit crit.
Nice.
So I'll take that.
Did you crack shot range 0? I forget.
I'm not going.
Oh wait, you were shooting a tie.
Yeah, I'm not going into him. I don't go into thing because it's ranger. I go into the blue Jingo. And get hit crit because it's got 2 health left.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If I can kill him, it's 1 less shot coming into Anakin.
Yeah, and he's dead, right? I see.
And
blank focus.
Yeah, blank focus evade, I believe.
Okay.
But he took the damage from the bump, so takes 2 and dies. So yeah, that's and the crit was direct hit anyway. So yeah, that's 1 less coming into Anakin, which I'm fine with, obviously. So we go to Rack, who I think does his range 0 into Anakin because 2 health. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And rolls hit crit. And Anakin rolls 2 of 8.
Happy days.
Happy days. Then we then go to my 5s. I think that
here, with Contrail, I would actually go into Iden.
Interesting. I can't remember, so you'll have to bear with me. I know I was umming and ahhing at the time between Iden or the green Jingo. Because I think I was thinking if I can take that focus off the Jingo, and then Obi range 1 CLTs him.
Yeah, so the reason I'm thinking Iden here is Iden has no mods, and you have 2 shots. Yes, it's not a CLT shot, but Obi only has the Force anyway, so it's not like you can easily...
Obi doesn't. Obi, I'm hoping, and we'll check, that Obi has fire convergence from the lat.
Yeah, exactly. But so I mean, it's not like I don't have a focus, so it's the extra focus isn't like a guaranteed thing. So I would take the range 1 7th Fleet into Iden with Obi here, possibly even with Contrail. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, like it's a function of the same shot.
So
Iden's 3 points, so 2 shots in theory should get rid of her.
So I check the Lats arc for 7th Fleet Gunner because I think I've gone into Iden. And I 7th Fleet, so I'm definitely going into Iden because that green Jingoist isn't in the arc.
Right.
So I declared Iden, then checked arc, and 7th Fleet, and I roll hit crit eyeball.
And that focus.
I have an hour about it. I don't spend the focus.
Okay. Do you reroll at least?
I didn't actually. That's a definite miss. That's a definite miss trigger.
Check 7th Fleet Gunner and fire conversions. Uses doesn't use it.
Well, I use 7th. I use 7th Fleet.
Did you 7th Fleet? Was that range 2?
I think it was range 2.
That
or
looks
maybe
range.
I didn't. Maybe all right. Maybe I'm just saving that for Obi.
You haven't spent the charge, so
all right. Well, I'm saving it for Obi then. Maybe because I really wanted Obi to have the all-power shot to try and kill a tie. I don't think I spent the focus because even if I kill Iden, I'm likely taking 3 shots back on that V-Wing. And I really want that V-Wing to survive so I can drop a proton bomb.
That's nice, but I think you want to remove the ties over.
I think my thinking there was see what I do with Contrail first, and then let that dictate what Obi's shot is as well. But I put the crit through. I think, and the crit is a no.
So you went into the Jingo. That's why you didn't 7th Fleet.
That's why I didn't 7th Fleet, and why I didn't reroll. He didn't spend his focus, I'm guessing, because he wants it for attack.
Yeah.
But he takes a weapons failure.
Okay, that's all right.
That's pretty sweet. And then Obi is going range 1 CLT into that Jingo now to try and knock him off. I spend both force for 3 hits.
Yep.
He gets 1 evade, so he dies.
Okay. So that did work out. I'm still going to stand by. I reckon Contrail should go into Iden with the full power of Hound.
In hindsight, and talking it through, I think you're probably right. I think I should have 7th Fleet in.
Yeah, I do mean go full on. That looks range 1 to me. So full on 4 dice into Iden. Yeah. Iden only has elusive.
Yeah, in hindsight,
and disciplined is the thing. She also has discipline, so she's about to take a target lock.
Yeah, maybe.
Or a barrel roll, whichever.
No, I'm just trying to remember if my opponent remembers this. I don't remember.
And with the backup being that if Contrail doesn't do it, then at least Obi can have a go. Yeah. Still range 1. You only have the force as a mod and a reroll, and I guess you would. And in hindsight, you didn't have the reroll into the Jingoist anyway.
No. In hindsight, definitely, I think. Yeah. I think that's the right call. I'm pretty obviously you don't have quite as much time when you're playing to go through that, and I think it's just I've got 2 range 1s, it's CLT, so that's effectively 4 dice.
Yeah, and I guess if you thought that the Jingoist was in Hound's firing arc, then
this is the problem because you have to. I'm guessing that was it because you have to declare the defender first before you then 7th Fleet. Yeah. Well, my assumption is you do. You can't just arch.
That's the only way that works, right?
Yeah, you declare it, and then you see if the defender is in the Lat's arc. You can't just go, "Oh, look, I'm gonna willy-nilly." But yeah, it was just that it's a range 1 from Contrail. It's a range 1 CLT from Obi. Okay, it did work out in the end, but no, I agree. In hindsight, Iden would have been the better. Oh, she's also more points, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. She's more points. She shields down essentially. She doesn't have a token. And killing the other one gives her a discipline trigger, and it gives Rack a discipline trigger. I don't know if they both get used.
But there are no discipline triggers.
And we move on. Okay.
We move on. So Gideon, I think goes range 2 into Contrail. We'll see how many. No, range 2 into Contrail. Rolls double crit.
Ouch.
I roll 2 focuses and a blank. Oh no,
this is into Anakin.
Into Anakin.
Actually, no, that makes sense actually because it's the same dice against the same dice, right? It's 2v3 or 2v3.
And if he can sneak 2 through, he'll kill him. Luckily, Anakin has 2 force, so modifies those 2 focuses.
Yeah.
But Anakin's now sat taking at least 1 more shot, probably 2, because I think Wampa has a shot.
Yeah. And Wampa hasn't been shot yet, so it's full power Wampa.
And I have no mods anymore.
Yeah.
I think, actually, this turn, I think Anakin dies. Iden gets 1 hit going into Anakin, and Anakin rolls an evade. And then it's Wampa, who has a range 2. Gets
Wampa charge.
Rolls hit crits. Anakin rolls evade blank, and it's a direct hit. And so he dies. But, alright. So I've killed 2 ties and lost Anakin.
Not ideal, but not insurmountable.
I didn't think it was end of the world at this point. Namely because Contrail drops a proton bomb here. Hopefully catches someone, plinks a shield off. I I think even if the tides turn away, well, if the tides turn away, that's just a bonus for me because they're turning away. So yeah, certainly not the end of the world. And because I didn't use 7th Fleet Gunner, I could take, I've still got it without having to take the disarm this turn, so Ham can get a shot.
So it's funny actually. This brings me back to that discussion we had about the the C3PO Corky versus like Yoda, and I'm like, well, in this situation, yes, Yoda, because the Force is the Force and always will be the Force.
I think in hindsight I should have gone Yoda.
It's simpler, I think, is the answer, right? Like, it doesn't
you were the
require...
one that told me to go for Corky.
Yeah, well, I didn't expect you to just immediately go to the center of the board and stop. The whole point was that the whole point was that Hound can just keep moving.
Ironically, I'd literally put the Yoda one into Yasby. I'd uploaded it onto the TTO. Hence why it says Yoda on the overlay.
Yeah. Like, I think Corky and C3PO is great, but you like put yourself in a position where you had to stop.
Yeah, but I also think that doing that and putting the other ships where they were was the right call. So
yeah,
it's
like I should actually say I think the stop was the wrong call. I think just the too hard away, and then you can too hard in and just be like, "Hi, I'm alert. I'm tanky, Rack. You can shoot me all day because that means you're not shooting my fragile ships."
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that is true.
Yeah. So now I think the Corky C3PO combo is good. I think you just needed to not stop.
I'm probably a little overprotective of the lap because I know how hard this list gets when it dies.
Yeah.
But
on the flip side, this list is also very hard to use when the other ships like can get focused on, and the lat isn't like either preventing damage or presenting something to shoot at, right?
Yeah.
Like in the end, it is a giant bulky boy.
It is that. So we go to round 5. And my opponent is first player again. And we do some system phase stuff because he drops a seismic charge out of the back of thing. I drop a proton bomb.
In theory, there should be lots of damage. Oh, dead on the center. Nice.
Dead on the
Ties
center.
go fast.
Ties go fast. 5 straight from Wampa. Who takes focus. Which is interesting because I think I might have barrel rolled there just to see if it would fit.
Yeah, but that also basically says I'm going over the rock next turn, and when you're a TIE fighter, going over the rocks these days is pretty dangerous.
Well, yeah, that's true. Hound does it too hard. I knew I was eating the proton bomb, but I got 2 shields, so
yeah,
fine. I'm also not entirely sure that too hard the next turn fits past that rock.
No, it probably doesn't. Although it should fit past the rock. You might clip it.
Well, that's what I mean. I'll overlap still.
You're still stressed. It's not like you're taking actions.
Gideon actually turns away to the right.
Yeah, no, that's the get away from the bomb move.
And so does Iden.
Yeah, get away from the bomb move.
Which I'm like, okay,
acceptable.
They're not taking the protons, but they've turned right away from stuff. And he takes a focus.
Yeah.
Rack does a 1 bank and takes a lock onto Hound.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I do 2 hard with Contrail to get rid of the stress, and then I boost round and link it into a lock onto Rack.
Yep, I like it. Just chase down that Rack boy.
I might I might be in range 1 of the gas cloud, but I think I've still got shields left.
That's all right.
If I'd rather have that and have a shot into.
Yeah.
Into Rack. Really missed. I really wish the V-wings had a boost into a focus, not a lock. It would be so much nicer there with the lat. And
yeah, but then you wouldn't be able to get full use out of Besh, would you?
No, but I'd be able to get some use out of Oddball. So,
well, the Oddball is not the be-all end-all.
And I 1 bank with Obi, and I'm a little sad because I wasn't expecting that to fit. And he slots in just.
Did you 1 bank into your own proton bomb?
Well, yeah, because I generally thought I'd be able to barrel roll out of it, but stupid Gideon's in the way and
Gideon-
Iden's in the way.
Gideon. I mean, at this point, you just
sorry,
boost, right? Just go whole ham. Like, really? Like, that's my thing. At this point, you just say, okay, we're taking, like, you're eating both here, I think.
And the thing is, in hindsight, I really probably should have, but I don't. I just sit there and take a focus.
Actually, are you range 1 of the gas cloud? You might not be.
Well, I don't know, but I sit there and take a focus.
Like, I look at this and say, you boost, right? Because otherwise you're just giving Iden a free shot.
Well, yeah. But I was like, so the gas
you're
cloud
not in range 1 of the gas cloud. Okay, no, that's...
No. And Iden takes one, Wampa takes one,
Yeah.
Hound takes one.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's one of Hound shields.
Yeah.
But that's also, a third of the damage needed on Wampa and Iden.
Yeah. And then your proton bomb goes off, presumably hits Iden and Wampa as well.
And so the proton bomb goes off, hits Hound. No,
doesn't
just
hit
misses Iden. Hit clips Obi. Okay, that's his shield. I was less concerned about the proton bomb because that goes on the shield, and then I can R2D2 that shield back.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Clips Hound, but that's Hound's on the shield, and clips Wampa.
So if Wampa could just take a direct hit, that'd be great, right?
That'd be lovely. It's not a direct hit. I clearly don't put it on the overlay, or I will in a minute. No, I clearly forget.
Vader puts another damage onto Hound.
Vader puts a damage onto Hound because I have no green tokens. And then range 1's into Hound for 4 hits.
That target lock rolls 4 hits. Ouch. You roll an evade, so 3 go through.
So 3 go through. Okay, that's fine. That's half points on him, but
welcome to being a Lart. I know the feeling of infiltrators just taking damage for.
So I do Contrail next, who has the 7th Fleet Gunner, so does 3 dice into the Decimator. Beshes for
R7A7.
1 hit and 2 crits, and then R7A7's for 3 crits.
Alrighty, 3 crits onto the rack.
The first one is a hull breach.
Okay.
The second one is a console fire, and the third one is a damaged engine.
Alright, that's fine.
And that is not quite half points on rack, but I think I get half points soon. Obi takes this long range 3 into Wampa.
Yep, goes for the finish into Wampa. Give Iden a target lock.
Gets 2 hits. Wampa rolls 2 eyeballs and spends.
Yep, okay.
And then, I take the range 0 from Iden, who gets 3 hits. I blank out.
Oh, elusive? Yeah. You lose elusive.
No, I forgot elusive.
Okay.
Stupid. I was just like that. Not a single bit of paint, and that just no. Again, miss trigger, and may have cost me Obi-Wan. I should have elusived.
Yeah, I think because if elusive if Obi-Wan lives, this game is interesting.
Yeah, because if Obi-Wan lives, there's a chance I can take down Rack.
Yeah, but Hound.
I don't want to say that elusive is what cost me the game, but it may. I
think it sealed
the
deal. I think rather than costing the game, I want to say it sealed the deal
because the ties are kind of locked into being slightly out of it.
Yeah, like this thing. I don't think it lost you the game. I just think it made it so that your opponent won the game. If that makes sense. Like he was winning, and this just sealed the deal. Like now, Contrails are not going to do it, and Hound isn't going to do it.
I'm now for listeners behind 7-17 behind, whereas a second ago I was 7-12, and that's a lot more.
Yeah, because it basically went from full points Obi on the board to no points Obi on the board.
Yeah, and if he'd lived, I could have I could have R2D2'd one of those cards away as well.
Yeah, R2D2 the shield back, R2D2 a card away. Yeah, there's lots of things you could have done.
I'm guessing R2D2 the shield back first is probably the right call because that will protect you against a crit.
Now I'm gonna say elusive man.
I wonder, in hindsight, that going back to that proton bomb, whether I should have just R2D2 my own bomb away.
I mean, you know what? That's probably true. Like, it's awkward.
But yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, especially because it only hit one per and then 2 of your ships. So yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
actually there's the play. You R2D2 your own bomb.
Well, that's an interesting thing to think about for the next matches. But I do have a range one shot from Hound. The lad gets to shoot.
And all hits are crits.
And all hits are crits. And I roll one hit.
It's a crit.
It's a crit. And it is a disabled power regulator.
Hey, shame he's already engaged.
But that is half points on rack.
True. So we're 17-12.
17-12.
18-13 in a second, I
18-13. 18-13. And I'm like, the lat's got to move away from the objective.
That's halved, yeah.
Like, I'd have won hard, surely, to keep her in there.
Yeah.
So I'm convinced there's no maneuver I can do that doesn't overlap that rock with the lat.
Yeah. So just straight.
I two straight over it. It's blue, clear the stress, accept the damage, try and block rack, and then get the calculates.
End phase, rotate your... No, too late.
No, because I'm going straight and I'm going to block. Like, I think if Wampa turns up, it does a 1 hard, and a 2 straight will keep Wampa in arc.
Yeah, I was thinking more for rack in arc.
I think the 2. If I bump him, I think he'll be in arc. That's the thing.
Oh, so I don't know. Like, I'm looking at this. Like, I don't think he will be. Like, if he just bumps into your side.
Well, that was my thought. I thought it would go far enough that it will bump into the corner.
Because I think he just barely clear the rock, right?
Oh no, 2 straight. I think you go further than that. That's a medium base and a bit. And you've got
like your back will be like just clearing the rock.
I think it'll be a little further forward than that.
Anyway, we'll find out in a sec.
We will.
So besides they're just turning in, they don't have. They literally don't have to do anything other than sit around the point for 2 turns.
Yeah. So we roll, and I'm first player. Which is slightly annoying because I've got to do contrail before rack, but
yeah, that is a little awkward, but
it's not really right. So he drops another seismic.
Yep, that makes sense.
Which is fine.
Away.
I knew that I was going to have to take that, but I'll take 1 shield to be able to pump a load into rack. And Wampa turns away.
Yeah, he's paying for points then here.
Yeah, keeping the objective. So like, the moment he does that, I'm like, the only way I'm going to win this game is if I kill rack.
Yeah,
and I have to kill rack fast, and even then it's a hard.
and even like you've got to kill rack this turn.
This turn or this turn and next turn and.
Yeah, but like next turn you've lost, right?
I got 2, 2, 4. Yeah, well it depends. If I can kill him this turn and next turn, like this turn, and then only need one of my ships the next turn so I can get a shot on one of the ties, maybe. But that's, it's hard. So I do it, I take 2 damage for the rock and double calculate.
Yeah, so you just clear the rock. It is exactly in my mind where I thought you'd be. If he won straights, he's in your side.
So I 2 hard and focus. I focus, or do I boost? I don't remember what I do here. I might actually boost. No, just boost. Keep unstressed. So he does bump. But it's fine because I don't have a shot into rack, so.
Then you've lost.
Well, yeah, but I pretty much thought I'd already lost this game anyway.
Yeah,
so...
like I'm just thinking like tier outs because of course it's rack. He bumps into you and takes an action.
Bumps into me, rotates his turret. So Contrail shoots into Wampa.
Focus crit.
Reroll.
Convergence. Focus crit.
I don't. Yeah, I say no focus, so just the crit. Wampa spent the focus to dodge it. Rack.
And his elusive. He spent his elusive and the focus there.
Rack goes into Contrail.
Yep.
For 2 and a crit. I've got 2 health and a shield left. 2 evades, so that's the shield, half points. And then I range 2 into Wampa with Hound. get hit crit. 1 per rolls 2 evades.
That's unfortunate.
We score a point, and that's it.
How is he suddenly? Oh, of course, half points on
half
Contrail.
half on Contrail.
Yeah.
Gives him a point. Point from the centre. 2013.
Oof. Oof. What did he spend his force on? I missed that. Is that how he got half points on Contrail? Just one off one off the
Yeah, it must
Vader.
be Vader. Yeah.
Yeah, one off Vader and one off the shot.
Yep. And yeah, so that was game.
It sure was. Like, so that was interesting because, like, yeah, like to me, like, like forgetting elusive, Obi dying in literally one shot from a TIE fighter.
Yeah, I have to admit, like, okay, a range 1 shot from the TIE isn't it? But that's 3 on 3, both with focus mods. I wasn't expecting to die there.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have boosted. I should have boosted because I could have boosted and then R2D2 the frigging proton bomb away.
Yeah,
and then
like I think I'm guessing like that the idea didn't really enter your thought process. Like, why would I get rid of my own bomb? But
yeah,
actually,
I
think...
I didn't even consider it. It's only, I didn't even consider it watching it back there until like the turn after, going, maybe I should have got rid of my own bomb. That's actually quite an interesting play for.
Yeah, because there's no way he'd expect you to be there, right?
No, yeah, exactly. So I'll have to remember that. But
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still niche. I feel like the correct answer is not having to R2D2 your own bomb, but it's still something to remember.
Yeah, for sure.
Then you could have pitched the deplete over to Hound still there, couldn't you?
I could have. It depends. Like at the time, I don't think I would have had a good shot anyway. So I think I probably would have just kept the deplete.
I would have passed it to Hound because if you boosted, Wampa's there, right?
Yeah, it wasn't in bullseye though, and I think only would have been range 2.
Like, I'd take 2 on 3 over 1 on 3.
Whereas that turn, Hound had a range 1 shot into Rack.
Yeah, but I'd take 2 on 3 modded Obi over 3 on 0 unmodded Hound. Especially when you're shooting into Rack, who had health to spare.
Well, that's true.
Sorry.
Yeah, interesting.
So that was interesting.
Steven played incredibly well. Like when he won Harder Day everyone away from the majority of my list, and I was like, okay, he's going after Anakin, but I know what I've done with Anakin, and I think I can dodge most of that. And I was like, I'm quite happy now. I can get most of my ships flanking him, and then in behind, and then to turn them all back onto target so well. I thought it flew.
Yeah,
outflew me. And yeah, there were definitely some questionable choices on my part. I can say maybe I shouldn't have gone so hard with Anakin, but I think if hadn't, Anakin just doesn't do anything otherwise.
So I actually think your biggest problem here was target priority.
You think I should have gone all in on Rack?
No. I like when you like the turn where you check, like you were trying to kill Bajinguist and the Lart was out of arc. Like I actually think
I should have gone to Iden.
I think at the very least, Contrail should have gone full force into Iden.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
And then you can work out what Obi wants to do.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely think you're right on that one, because that would have been 7th Fleet, so that's effectively a double modded 4 dice shot.
Yeah, it's effectively Contrail's firing a proton torpedo, and like I think that like let you down because like things lived a little bit longer than maybe they should have, and that just gave the opportunity for your ships to get shot essentially. Like all of a sudden, okay, yes, maybe the Jingoist still lives and Contrail takes a buttload of damage, but maybe Iden dies to Contrail, then and then Obi has the range 1 CLT into the Jingoist anyway.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is magical Christmas land where the dice all go magically, but I still think that's better because even if Iden doesn't go down to Contrail, Obi can finish her off with a range 1 shot, and Iden's worth more points. She has a nasty heavy laser cannon that never got fired, but could have been dangerous.
Also, if I had gone into Iden there, I could have crackshotted her with Contrail.
Yeah, that's also true. And just like I think it was just a little bit of target priority. Like,
Yeah.
Because I think so my interpretation is, in your mind, you were thinking, I need to remove mods rather than I need to remove ships.
Like, it wasn't so much that. Contrail definitely was, because then I was hoping to follow up with Obi and remove the
Yeah.
ship. But no, I think you're right. In hindsight, remove the ship first if there's a ship there. Because, yeah, 4 dice, double modded, and a crack shot probably should kill the die.
Yeah, and then even if you don't go for the Jingoist with Obi, Wampa was right there. Like, I know he's the same points as the Jingoist, and functionally the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, as far as your list is concerned, Wampa and the Jingoist are 2 identical ships, realistically, with the exception that Wampa just goes beforehand.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was interesting. It's certainly interesting to look back on it, actually.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I lost that. I still got my best and top in faction, so it's a win-win on the day.
That's true.
Not all for me. Right, guys. I think that pretty much covers it for this week. So yeah, we'll be back next week. I don't know who will be flying yet. I do know the next 2 weeks will at least be one of my games and one of Sam's. Possibly might be both of us playing.
Who knows?
Who knows? I know what I'll be flying next time I record, but we'll
do I.
Well, yeah, you'll be separatists. I mean,
yep.
But
whoa, how did you guess?
I'm psychic, man. Psychic. But yeah, we'll wait for next week to find that out. So I'll just say goodbye.
Yeah, ta-ta.